It's 7:40 on New Year's Eve. Let's do this. Happy New Year, Hampton Roads. Happy New Year, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather, and because we get hungry from time to time, it's like a weather pizza party. We're sponsored by Marco's Pizza. Yum! We'll talk about them too, because they got a great deal of the week. But I have to get what we're talking about tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Happy New Year. What to expect early on in 2026. Some of us are still scratching our heads. What happened at the end of 2025? What am I talking about? Did you know it snowed this morning? It did. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, maybe an atmospheric scientist, to rewind the tape in Gloucester, maybe parts of the eastern shore, right around early this morning. You could see it. It's white. There it is. A few flakes. Oh, we were talking about 6, 7:30, right in that time frame. Came in, moved out, right? These are the spots that had a few flakes, and if you slept through it, that's on you. But if you didn't sleep through it, you woke up this morning and you saw around 6, 7:30 in that time frame, a few flakes came down. Said, man, there's nobody. Was this in the forecast? Hey, man, when it's cold and you've got clouds this time of year, things like this can happen. And I think it's going to happen again on Saturday, maybe in the same places, the peninsula and the eastern shore. That's Saturday. Might even get that tomorrow morning. Why are they getting all the snow? It just happens to be the way the storms are. I mean, the system's already pretty minute, but in this regard, we've got to watch what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. Maybe we get another few flakes in parts of Gloucester. Let's watch it again. So much fun. There's the clock at the top. Right about 5, 6, 7. There it goes. Ooh, or even maybe Newport News got a few flakes too. Our lows this morning came in at 30 degrees. 30 degrees came at 6:30 on the dot. And of course, our friends at the Norfolk International Airport have had some issues with their thermometer. Their thermometer stopped reporting after 11 o'clock this morning. But fear not, it was 21 this morning in Suffolk and 20 degrees in Chesapeake, and the high temperature did finish at 43. I do know that because the comment report came out, said 4:04 p.m. At 4:04 p.m., we saw a high of 43. If you're on the call, I want to just say hi to you. I do know that I got a great comment. Do I have time for this comment? I think I do. Let me just put this comment on here because I think this is pretty cool. This came in by, 24 hours ago? My friend Robert, who I don't really know, but he says, yikes! He says, I'm tired of winter, just teasing. Maybe the snowflakes that Gloucester had this morning was a tease. Tease! We're going to get more teases, Robert. I mean, come on, I'm just the messenger. Messengers get tired of being shot, right? Nobody wants to shoot the messenger if you don't like the message, right? I'm just telling you, we're going to be teased. We've got another tease tomorrow morning, another tease on Saturday, where some might get a trace to an inch in spots, but that's generous. That's really generous. A trace to an inch in spots. That's pretty hard because it's not a snowstorm. These will be rain and snow showers, emphasis on rain. And there'll be some mixing too. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I know it's 7:43. You're watching a special edition of First Warning Live because, well, I mean, it's not being recorded. I'm here. It is 7:43 after all. But if you're going to be out tonight on the town, maybe you're watching from the comfort of your home, on the couch, with maybe one of those cool fireplaces. You know what I'm talking about, where you flip a switch and it just comes on, poof. You don't even have to mess with the matches. That's kind of cool. Or even the newspaper. But anyway, if you're in that comfort, great. But temperatures will be on the colder side with the wind, talking mid to upper 30s. We're going to look at the temperatures as we head toward the midnight hour. But before I forget, did I mention you could save some money? Our friends at Marco's would love for you to try what was the very first product I tried. It's called a Pozzoli. It's kind of like a Stromboli, a calzone. Very, very filling, I might add, and much bigger than it looks. But if you use the promo code that's provided on the screen, WTKR or TV call letters, and my first name, my personal favorites, pepperoni and sausage. Some people ask me, what do you like the best? I think it's even better when it's paired with just the right dipping sauce. I'm talking about marinara, pizza cup, the red sauce there, or the ranch dressing, or even the garlic. They're all delicious, but for $5, that's a steal. And some of you might say, well, I don't know which Marco's will do that for me. Well, there's 6. There are 6 that are participating in the $5 Pozzoli deal of the week. And there's also the same 6 that are giving away free pizza for a year. All you have to do is sign up at our webpage, WTKR.com. Marco's would love to have you sign up. And if you do notice that the pizza for a year certificate we typically issue on Thursdays will be issued tomorrow, which is Thursday, first day of the year. one topping, one large pizza every month for a year. This is what would happen if you get your name randomly selected. Your name would be put here. You'll have all of January, one there, one in February, and all the way through 2026. You'll get 12 pizzas with one topping. That saves you a lot of money. I think it's a fantastic offer. Marcos doesn't have to do that, but they're doing it. They're doing it again. We've been doing this since May. Marcos.com if you're hungry tonight. Pepperoni Magnifico, and the right's a great style. And wouldn't that look good? That just looks so good. Anyway, go to our webpage, WTKR.com/Marcos. Back to the weather. Tonight, it is going to be interesting to see. Interesting to see how cold it is in your neighborhood. Because I know some of you are already colder than this. I mean, Chesapeake, to be fair, it's pretty rural, where the airport numbers are read in Chesapeake. It's really cold. But generally, we're in the 30s, mid to upper 30s, once we hit the stroke of midnight. If you're on this call, would love to say hi to you. I just need to toggle on the right comments. Sometimes I will have to import, and it's not hard to do, but I just have to make sure I've done that correctly on my software, and that's what I'm doing right now. So if you're on this call, if you're watching me on a New Year's Eve night, you go, what's that guy doing up this hour? Shouldn't he be doing something else? Well, maybe, but I love weather. I love pizza too, but I'll tell you what, the comments that might be coming in are pretty cool. I got Kim Thompson-Jones. She is a devoted First Morning Live friend, and I want to wish you a happy New Year's Eve too, Kim. Glad to have you here. Who else do we have here? Taj Brown. Boy, Taj, she says, hey-o, FWL, First Morning Live. Preparing greens by, oh yeah, the collard greens, that's lucky. You're a lucky man, Taj Brown. I guess going into the new year, you're going to be the one everybody is going to want to hang out with because, let's face it, luck is something a lot of people run out of this time of year. Maybe they lose a little bit of hope. I don't want you to lose hope. Every day's a gift. A whole new year is just a few hours away. And you can see, again, forecast expectation will be cooling through the 30s. But some of us are not that warm right now. Let's focus on headlines for a moment. As we look at some of the color, beautiful holiday lights at the ocean front behind it. Happy New Year, starting on a cold note. Stray flakes possible Thursday. That's tomorrow. That's New Year's Day. For what specific area is this weatherman talking about? I'm talking about the peninsula, talking about the eastern shore. Do I think it's going to hit Virginia Beach? Nope. Do I think it's going to hit Elizabeth City? Nope. Do I think it's going to hit Manio? Nope, nope, nope. But if we see some rain over the weekend, that's going to be mainly Saturday afternoon, and there'll be some flake potential. I'm getting a little crazy with the telestrator. But the flake potential Saturday will also include the peninsula and eastern shore. I mean, they're like the most favored spot to get it, maybe because they're to the north and it's colder, maybe. But sometimes it can be predicated or dependent on storm track. We're going to look at that too. Now, if you are in the here and now, in the very moment you're watching this with me, 7:47, what are you noticing that I'm noticing? I'm seeing a few extra clouds, which may slow the cooling process. We're still going to be dropping into the mid-30s in Norfolk by morning, but a few extra clouds, a southwest wind, it might slow the cooling process, which means at stroke of midnight, it could still be the same temperature where it is right now, depending on where you live. Now, if we expand the view a little bit further, you'll see there's this little trough that's kicking a few of these clouds in our direction, and we'll continue on this theme tonight. But where it is snowing rather steadily would be in northeast Ohio, downwind of Lake Erie, and into western Pennsylvania, where they're getting snow showers at the moment. Looks okay. It looks like it's even trying to snow in northern Kentucky, not far from Lexington. Wouldn't surprise me if they see a little bit of a dusting near Lexington, Kentucky, which is where I worked during COVID at times on the weekends. Now, temperatures 37 right now in Portsmouth. It is 37 in Virginia Beach. I mentioned it's probably down for maintenance, but Norfolk stopped reporting as of 11 o'clock this morning. But they did give us courtesy from the Weather Service Wakefield, they did give us a high of 43. Now, whether that was an interpolated high or whether they actually knew it was 43, I don't know. But I do know there's missing data there. 36 current temperature in Cape Charles at 7:49. It is still 40 in Manio. This is one of the warmer spots, as is Edenton at 42. But you go to Bertie County and suddenly you drop off 13 degrees to 29. That's a pretty dramatic change. And you usually will find colder air around the Chesapeake Airport. They're down to 30 at this hour. So again, Williamsburg, you're pretty much at 40. We've got 40 in Manio, and a lot of us are in the 30s elsewhere. It's even 31 degrees right now. At Wallops, they're below freezing. Now the wind chill, throw in some wind, makes it feel like it's in the 30s. Those winds may be a factor if you're standing out at, say, Waterside or maybe at Town Center tonight. Now, as far as the Happy New Year, We're going to replace the balloon to 2026, and we're expecting a 10% chance of flakes and drops tomorrow. Now remember, where's the 10% chance of flakes and drops? The peninsula and the eastern shore. So, I mean, I don't want to raise your expectations. He said I was going to get, not if you're in Elizabeth City. You're not getting flakes. You're not even getting drops tomorrow. But you might see, like we saw this morning, a few passing flurries in some parts of the peninsula, maybe the northern neck, right? Some of those areas might get a few flakes like they had this morning. Now, wind gusts, you can see they want to pick up a little bit. Around midnight tonight. How do I see that? Midnight's right there on the timestamp up at the top of the screen. And along the Outer Banks, it might be gusting closer to 27. Eastern Shore would match it. Now, if we move into tomorrow morning, you see coloring going to red around Delaware and maybe into parts around Salisbury, Maryland. It's interesting because the winds pick up a bit along the Eastern Shore, where it might be closer to 22 at 8 a.m. Thursday. This is New Year's Day. Some of you are like, I'm asleep. Given the fact I've been partying all night, I'm asleep at 8 a.m. on a New Year's Day. Okay, maybe you're getting up later to watch some football. Whatever is your thing, I could just tell you it's still going to be pretty gusty right through 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, will it stay that way in the afternoon? No, it decreases. Look what I'm talking about. Here's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It goes back to single numbers. Single numbers, right? You've got less wind by 3 and 4 o'clock as compared to what you might have had at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then even tomorrow night, that's 11 o'clock on New Year's Day night. That's making my head hurt. It's 7 miles an hour. So I could just wish you Happy New Year. I want to urge everyone to check on your neighbors, make sure everybody's okay. Make sure everyone's accounted for. 46 degrees is what I expect for a high temperature. I hope it's festive for you. I hope it's fun. That's what the holiday is all about, right? To be festive. Time to reflect. Right? Have a chance to look back and see where things were and where you hope them to go or where you hope them all to go next year. But anyway, we're about 46 degrees for a high tomorrow. That's my expectation. Now, as far as the wind chill, you can see the clock moving and the numbers move to about 7 a.m. So tomorrow morning, given the wind, it could still feel like 30 in inland Virginia and about 31 south side. If you're on this call, we'd love to say hi. Amy Thompson is on here. Did I miss Amy Thompson? Oh, she's on there. See, she's another person I give kudos to, Amy. And for those of you who watch this regularly, you know why I'm giving Amy kudos. Because she provided a beautiful picture of herself on Facebook that's close up. I can see her beautiful face. Now, granted, she's got some sunglasses on, very stylish. She's maybe in her vehicle. I see maybe a seatbelt. But Amy Thompson is making it very clear that she's present and she's asking, what did I miss? You didn't miss anything. It's just cold out there. But we have some snow to talk about going into the weekend for some of us, and it might be just enough to say, hey, that weather guy around Halloween had it right on. He said it was going to be a front-end loaded winter. We get some snow in November, Veterans Day. We get some snow in December 8th especially, and we might even get some next year. We even had a few flakes this morning in Gloucester. So it's just one of those things that not everybody gets it. It's never an equal opportunity weather event, but sometimes, like you had on February 19th, sometimes it is. That was a snowstorm. What we're expecting are a few snow showers down the road. Now, New Year's Day, here's what I expect tomorrow, a partly cloudy day. Pick out your favorite time. If you're waking up and having breakfast at noon, some people love to sleep in. I get it. Be about 44. And the winds will change from the west to the north 10 to 15, gusting to around 25 miles per hour. Our friends, 46 is where I expect to be. It'll be a chilly day. That's just +3. That is 3 degrees warmer than it was today, because today was 43. So it really is kind of chilly. Think about how cold it's been. This trend, if you're keeping track or playing the home game version, we're running between 4.5 and 5 degrees below normal for the whole month. Now that may not sound like a lot, 4.5 to 5 degrees below normal for the whole month, but you have to take all 31 days of December, highs and lows, and divide by. So you figure this out on average, that's still pretty remarkable. Very cold December, but I don't think that January will finish as cold. I think we're going to slowly see this thing start to change as we head toward Dr. King Day. Dr. Martin Luther King Day is the 19th of January. After that, I think winter's slowly going to retreat. And we'll see if I'm right. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. But if we'll see if I'm right, we'll see how that plays out. 46 for high temperature tomorrow. Now, tonight's lows, I can tell you this, will drop down about 33 Suffolk, 40 for Duck, and these are pretty much averages. 36 for Gloucester, about 33 for Matthews. There can be some variability, and some of these numbers may come back as the clouds roll in. Some of these numbers may go back up to meet these values. 33 for Gatesville tomorrow. I do expect a milder day in quotation marks. Yesterday I thought Friday would be around 49 to near 50. Now it's looking like we have a good chance to get to at least 51. 51 would be nice, but it's not going to last. Normal high is 52, so really technically it's 5 days still below normal. And I think Monday will be unusually cold, 42, before things start to rebound later on. I'll show you what that looks like momentarily. It is now 7:55. Did I mention some drops and flakes? Like, well, I don't see. Oh, there. Ooh, I like it. There's some high tech there. You just put a snowflake and a raindrop on Saturday. I did. Did you see it? It was all sleight of hand. I don't know if you saw it, but I added that in there. Took all but maybe 2 minutes to just kind of add that little icon and graphic so you could see what I'm saying for Saturday. This is mainly a rain event, but for some of you will get some flakes on Saturday. Is that what you missed, Amy? Maybe. I don't know. That was her question. She wanted to know if she missed anything. I hope not. I got a note from Taj Brown. He's here. He's indicating, and I want to say hi to him because he's so cool. He's saying here, Happy New Year's Eve. First warning, live friends, prosperity and blessings to us all. 2K226. Let's do this. Yeah, I'm with you. I think this has the potential this year to be even better than 2025. And really, it's in the eye of the beholder. But instead of having to, like when they say, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? How do you take on 2026? One day at a time. Let's just take it one day at a time. And then each day gets better. You can build on that. That's how I view it. Some people might try and tackle more than they can chew, but we'll see what happens. I just know that we have this calendar year, the 2026 calendar year, that could be awesome and could be very well exceed your expectations. Now, I want to show you the rain chances for the weekend. You're going to love this graphic. If there's nothing else that Amy missed, I'm going back to her, what did I miss? You might miss this. Who's going to tell you this? I mentioned yesterday there was going to be a low. I was going to travel from Montana to Texas, and then Texas to Georgia. That's where it is right now. It's in Georgia here at 7 a.m. Saturday. And then it's going to go to South Carolina, and then it's going to come off the coast of North Carolina. And yesterday the data showed the rain extension no more than duck, right? It showed Rodanthe, it showed Hatteras, but I said, look, these things can move 50 to 100 miles, right? And even if the center doesn't expand, maybe the rain does. And sure enough, now it's showing it's going to rain in here and maybe even some snow. So if it's cold enough aloft, we get a little bit of mixing. Now you're beginning to see that. What time? Mainly in the afternoon. Look, the mixing's already taking place around Roanoke. It's snowing in Roanoke at noon on Saturday. Nobody told me that. I'm telling you that now. All right, that's what this would suggest. Now, is this particular model gospel? No, it's just guidance. It's all it is. It's just guidance. But it's a pretty good indication when what? We're less than 3 days out, my friend. 3 days in the weather world is the sweet spot. Because with you within 3 days, 2 or 3 days, you get more confidence. Do you know what I mean? If you ever went to camp as a kid and you had to learn how to archery, when they give you a bow and arrow, can you hit the target when it's like, 200 yards away? Or is it closer when the target's right here? It's real easy to hit it when it's close, right? You're within 3 days. When you're trying to figure out the snow amount day 7 or day 6, it's pretty hard. It's difficult. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. This way, if we look at this map here, you can clearly see there's something building here with colder air around noontime. So we're going to work from the premise that most of what falls in terms of rain and snow on Saturday will be mainly in the afternoon. Are you with me? Are you with me? Let me take you to 4 o'clock. It's not just snowing in Roanoke anymore. It might be snowing near Richmond. Might be snowing near Richmond at 4 o'clock on Saturday. And this thing could change again tomorrow. And again, if you watched me yesterday, there wasn't any green on the screen north of Duck. North of Duck, it was really like down toward Wilmington, Cape Fear, back toward Ocracoke, Hatteras, and Rodanthe. That's where it was. The same model, by the way. I'm looking at apples to apples. So what happens is these models can do a switcheroo, right? They can do a head fake. They can telegraph one thing one day, then do a serious pullback the next day, and you go, oh man. And then the next day it comes back even more aggressive with potentially some snow. So hang in there. I think a trace to 1 inch plus is possibility for some within that ribbon of white and maybe some purple in there. But certainly the pink is the mixing. That's not pretty. That could be a combination of freezing rain and sleet thrown in as well. But as we go to 7:30 Saturday, the time frame here is now past afternoon. It's after dark. We've got a little ribbon of snow across the Commonwealth, mixing in across parts of the eastern shore and the peninsulas. Wait a minute. Isn't that what I said at the beginning of this live stream? You said eastern shore and peninsula. I did. Look, that means this next event is going to be just like it. We could have another one like it tomorrow. Although tomorrow's event is going to be even more wimpy. It's going to be more like it was this morning. Pretty small and minute. But Saturday, this has got potential to watch, especially if you're in areas around the northern neck or maybe even toward the eastern shore, because that looks pretty aggressive. I see some several shades of the purple here. So now you're looking at 10 o'clock Saturday, and most of us in North Carolina are still getting rain. Most of us in Virginia Beach and Norfolk are getting rain, but there's not much else than that. So if you've got questions, I'm here to answer any questions you've got. Amy is saying, fingers crossed. She's hoping maybe that some of that snow works her way down. Again, you're going to get some cold air in some parts of our viewing area, so it's going to be a very different experience depending on its track, right? It's all about the track of the low. It's also a question of how much of that moisture. Does it move further north? If it moves further north, then the snow is going to be up toward Wilmington, Delaware, which is where I was born and raised. Maybe South Jersey will see more snow if it moves further north. It can change. I know it's just 3 days out, but I will urge you to stay tuned. What the biggest concern tonight is just getting through the new year and dressing warmly, because that's what we have to do to get through it. Now, as you can see, 12:30 Sunday morning, still snowing, maybe up toward parts of maybe Williamsburg. Certainly it looks like it's snowing around Onancock or Chincoteague at 12:30 Sunday morning. But this particular run isn't the final solution, because it could change again tomorrow. And we will look at it again tomorrow when we have our pizza winners announced 24 hours from this very minute, because at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, I will announce those winners, and 10 individual pizzas will be going out as well. Rain chances for the weekend obviously disappear by the time we hit Sunday. It's much improved by Sunday. But if you want to look at the same model for snowfall potential, look no further than here. Some of you are like, woohoo, I like to see that. I see your legend, it's 1 to 3. Well, there's probably fewer threes in here. But most of us, I think you're looking at about a trace to as much as maybe an inch plus, right? Because the ground may be warm, and this may not actually stick initially. But this would give you some indication that this is nothing if you're in a Hosky. This is a nothing burger if you're in Franklin. This is maybe some rain for Franklin, rain for a Hosky, and rain for Duck and Rodanthe, but it's not snow, right? This is highly concentrated for what? For the peninsula and the eastern shore. Okay, I've covered that. Let's play some games. Let's play some trivia. How many days in 2025 did Norfolk hit 90 plus? We talked about a lot of this during the month of June, July, and August. Of course, August really got kind of cool. And I want to thank senior meteorologist Miles Henderson for putting this up on the noon show today. But how many of you, if you watch the news, you would know the answer to this question? Maybe you just know it intuitively. Let me know. Let's see here. Pierre Ferguson saying hello. We hope so, maybe. I think there's some snow fans out there. If you're on Team Snow, you probably don't like this question. But I will ask this question just to set the stage. I'd like to see how many people are watching live. Interact with me. It's A, B, or C. How many days in Norfolk, or how many days in 2025 did Norfolk hit 90 or higher? Now, that's not the heat index. That's the actual temperature. Was it A, 13 days, B, 33 days, or C, 53 days? Good question. It's a fair question. Maybe it's more positive because this is a beach community. We like our Outer Banks. We love our Virginia Beach. We love the Eastern Shore. Just want to know, how hot did it get this year? And do you know the answer? I got a note from Taj. He's guessing the letter is B. That would be 33. And since he's the first one I saw, I'll give him credit. Ding, ding, ding. He's done it again, everybody. Taj, that's the collard greens you're talking about, man. You're lucky. You are not only lucky, but you're savvy and smart and weather savvy. The hottest day was 99 degrees on June 26. I believe even last year, 2024, our hottest day of the year was in June. So don't discount June, even though summer solstice, we think of summer just beginning. Some of the hottest days of summer in the last couple of years have occurred in June. And the humidity went off the chart in July. So we had a couple of months that were very, very brutal. If you're not a fan of the heat, we had a big pullback. As you know, in August and September. But 99, the answer. So great, well played, everybody. Let's keep moving. It's now 8:04. I'd like to talk about the polar vortex, because if you want some snow, you want some cold air. It typically rotates counterclockwise around the North Pole, but when you get a sudden stratospheric warming event, which we've seen over the last 30 days or so. In fact, I've shown this picture quite a few times. A month ago, as you can see here, the date's here, December 1st. I show you this is from NOAA. This is not a forecast. This was a temperature analysis, which means at roughly 10 or 11 miles up, it got really, really warm, which pushed some really, really cold air down. Again, 6 to 31 miles up is considered the stratosphere. This particular map is suggesting the warm air was found at about 10, 11 miles up, right over James Bay and Lake Superior. So coincidentally, it takes roughly about 30 to 40 days for that cold air to come down, and it did. Now it's the 31st of December. We're almost to New Year's Day, and almost like clockwork, it seems like it's gotten cold again. So I just want to point this out to you, that this displacement typically can cause the cold air to come surging into Canada and the Great Lakes, and sometimes it is modified as it moves toward at least Hampton Roads in northeast North Carolina. If you're concerned about this today's picture, it doesn't look as hot, right? Because yesterday, there was a stronger red signal on the other side of the globe. This is for the 30th of December. I can see the dates right here. But looking ahead to today's temperature analysis for the same location, it's a little bit less. And I would suspect that 30 days from now, there's not going to be a whole lot of cold air to work with. That's not to say we couldn't get some snow in the month or late in January into February. I'm just saying I don't think our best chance was going to be on the front end of winter. We'll have to wait and see if I'm right about that. And you can see the upper air pattern. It shows the cold in purple and blue, and it doesn't necessarily show signs of coming back until probably after the 10th of January. A little surge there in Minneapolis, but that may be, like after that passes, it might be pretty mild across the board. So I'm just saying that we'll get some snow opportunities on Saturday for the peninsula and the eastern shore, but we'll have to wait and see if there's more concrete opportunities in the days thereafter. Did I mention today's high? I don't know if I did. It was 43. I know I mentioned that Norfolk had a temperature gauge or thermometer problem today that might be under repair or maintenance. But 43 the high, record 73 from 1932. If you look at the whole month as a whole, we had 3 weeks, count them, 3 weeks below normal. That's pretty remarkable, right? That's some cold air. 9 days were above normal, and the warmest day of the entire month, it looks like, was 67, actually 68 on Monday. 68 on Monday, the 29th. So just a few days ago, we had our warmest day of the month, and we're finishing back to 43. So we're going to be roughly about 4.5 to 5 degrees below normal. Great time as we start a new year to make a New Year's resolution to keep you and your family safe. Having information that comes in all the time is a great way to do it. If you download the free News 3 First Warning Weather app, available at Google Play and the App Store, if you use it with the NOAA Weather Radio, which again is battery powered, anytime something like winds or a tornado affects power and tower cell phone towers, you'll still get the information one way or the other. Sometimes we forget to charge our phones. That's why it's always good to have multiple sources for information. Airport delays not an issue tonight. Looks like it's pretty quiet. Oops, how did that happen? I'll go back on camera for a second. But we were looking about most of what we're seeing in terms of wet weather seems to be out west. California is very, very soggy. They were like that a week ago during Christmas. And now the snow that we're seeing off to the far north might affect us briefly tomorrow, and I'm going to show you that in the Futurecast. I'm not holding that back. It's in my slideshow a little bit buried deeper into the fray here. So bear with me. Let me go ahead and put this back on the screen. As I load my element here, you can clearly see there's a lot of rain going on along the West Coast. And if you recall, Los Angeles was getting quite a bit of rain around Christmas. They got quite a few inches of it. Now it's raining in San Diego. Las Vegas, which is a desert, is also getting rain at this hour. And it's raining all the way up from Fresno, all the way up to Northern California as well. If we expand the view further out, Texas looks dry at the moment. And if you're in the military, you got family maybe in around the Great Lakes, from Rochester to Buffalo. They've got snow. They got snow in Detroit, and it's snowing in Indiana right right now, but a lot of that's going to have a hard time getting over the Appalachian Mountains. It's just not going to have a lot of legs to stand on, but when we see the futurecast, we might see another situation like we saw this morning in Gloucester and Newport News. Now, as I mentioned, Norfolk's not reporting. It's 8 o'clock, 37 right now in Virginia Beach. It's freezing in Smithfield. It's 40 in Surrey. Do you see how it's difficult to be in the weather field in this part of the world simply because of the high variability? I mean, if I said, hey, it's going to be 40 or it's going to be 32, you're thinking, pick one. What do I pick? It's either freezing or it's 40 right now. It's 42 in Kiptapeak. They're in the upper 30s in Dag's Head, 40 in Manio. But those are the current readings. So it's sometimes a little difficult because of the high variability. And for coastal communities near water, you can have differences in temperature vastly from what you might see in like a Windsor, where they're at 29 right now, well below freezing. Our temperature in Columbus, Ohio right now is 31, 42 in Raleigh, 42 in Hatteras, and you can see the really cold air is showing up in purple. And I'm looking at Minneapolis, St. Paul. That's the effect. That's the effect of the sudden stratospheric warming event that we had on December 1st. It is negative 33, my friend, every bit of it in Lynn Lake Airport. Now, I'm not headed there. I'm not even advising you go there. But I do like the fact that they've got a thermometer at Lynn Lake Airport in Canada, because then I can see how cold it is. I don't want to have to feel it. But that seems like I couldn't imagine having to take my dog out to do her business. You know, like when it's negative 33. Negative 20 in Island Lake. It's negative 13 in Pickle Lake Airport. These are the actual current temperatures. So, yeah, it's modified. Nobody's expecting it to be that cold when it gets here. But in the short term, we do have some cold air days in the 7-day forecast. Future temperatures really showing the white and the blue. We've paved the highway for some cold air to ooze down, but it's also in battle with the warmth in Texas as it continues to be pretty warm around the Gulf. And you can see that white area just coming down to Montana around the 10th. And that might be the last good push of cold air before we see some things start to moderate. In fact, if you want the 6 to 10, and there are two products the climate prediction puts out, they do what's called a 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Centered is really, really warm in parts of Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana. And if that's where the real heat is relative to the averages, that's what you can expect for the first 10 days of January. Now, if you look at the 8 to 14 outlook, which carries it carries the ball down the field a few more extra days, the above normal temperatures really centered around South Florida, but you start getting near normal here, I think you're going to suddenly see this thing starting to unwind, because as I said, after the 19th, after we get past Dr. Martin Luther King Day, I think we're going to see winter pull back. That's just the way I see it. So if you can't get snow this Saturday, you did get some snow on the 8th of December. You can't tell me you didn't get some snow in Virginia Beach on the 8th of December, because you did. Some of you got more than 2 inches. I do remember that, but you have nothing to show for it today. I get it. 8-12 right now. We have 39 for Bloxham tomorrow for New Year's Day. 40 in Saxus, 38 in Onancock, 40 in Exmoor, and 42 for Cape Charles. If you're in Kill Devil Hills and Nags Head, about 47 tomorrow, partly cloudy, 48 Manio, 46 for Duck. Our friends in Rodanthe, 48, and 50 in Hatteras, 51 Ocracoke tomorrow. Storm Prediction Center not showing much in the way of colors. If we do see isolated, I believe it is California. I do want, if you have family in California, they might find this information helpful. I don't know if you do, but I'll tell you what, isolated severe storms appear in one spot, and it looks like maybe it's disappeared. No, it's nothing tonight. It's tomorrow, I think it's Southern California, because between now and 7 a.m. tomorrow, it's no coloring whatsoever. But you go look back, there it is. Severe weather threat for New Year's Day is Los Angeles. I believe it's Santa Barbara, too. Yeah, Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, Santa Ana, these are the areas that have the potential for some isolated severe storms on the first day of the new year. Not something you typically expect, but given all the moisture they got there now, that's what's expected in their forecast. Severe weather threat Friday does not show anything. So let me show you what's going to happen, right? We've already seen a slow increase in clouds. We're going to count down to midnight. So here's 10 p.m. Are you sure this is 10 p.m.? I'm sure. It's 10 o'clock. And then we're going to go to 11. What's happened? I see more clouds, right? I see more clouds at 11 o'clock. And then, of course, when the confetti starts flying and the ball drops at midnight, it might be overcast. Well, okay. Well, where's the confetti? I think it's maybe a little bit delayed. You'll have to bear with me. But let's just assume there's some confetti flying in the air. There it is. Oh, but then Oh, well, do I see some snow? I do. It's up to the north. And where might it actually develop? It might affect the eastern shore and the peninsula. That's 7 o'clock in the morning. And I see a little bit of a ribbon of green, pink, and somewhat of a bluish blue, purple color, which would be the snow. And maybe, as I remove my telestrating here, you can see there is some yellow. Yellow is my telestrator. The white area would be the snowflakes. So tomorrow morning at 8, if you're up, and you had some, this could be like 2 days in a row. If you're in Gloucester, if you're in the Northern Neck, this could be the second day in a row where you wake up to a few more flakes. And then it looks like it's gone by maybe 9 o'clock. There's 8:30. Yeah, it's trying to make it to Williamsburg. So some areas, perhaps anywhere from Middlesex to Gloucester, Matthews County, anyone's fair game for a straight flake, but it's not going to define the whole day, nor did the snow this morning define the day for Gloucester. A lot of sunshine basically developed for the rest of today. Tomorrow at midday, if you're up out the door, this is when you're finally waking up because you partied all night long. Midday tomorrow, you got winds out of the north about 14. And then the rest of the day is partly cloudy. Looks pretty good. Highs about 46. Tomorrow night, we've got partly cloudy skies, more clouds to the eastern shore. And then 7 a.m. Friday, I mentioned it's going to be back about to 51 degrees for Friday with more sunshine for the second half of the day. Friday looks pretty good because it's not that cold. Now, tomorrow morning, we're about 32 in the peninsula, 35 south side. That's an average, and temperatures may actually come up in response to the abundance of clouds that are currently building. 34 in Ahoskie and Elizabeth City, 40 in Duck, 37 Cape Charles and Hampton, 36 Gloucester, and 33 for Matthews, 35 for Norfolk. Now, Thursday afternoon, we're in the mid to upper 40s, about 49 for North Carolina. I want to tip my hat to Chincoteague's Love signage on the four chairs there. 46 south side, 43 peninsula for highs, and the highs about 45 for Wakefield. Notice there's a string of 50s tomorrow. I don't want to leave that out. There is going to be a little warm area here, some warm air advection as we call it, coming in from the southwest. So Windsor, Edenton, Ahoskie may be about 10 degrees warmer than our friends in Hampton and Portsmouth and Virginia Beach. And again, this speaks well to the variability that is Hampton Roads. And it's just variable, given the fact that Cape Charles, you'll be lucky to crack 42, while it could be 52 easily in Conway and Ahoskie. Highs tomorrow about 51 for Gatesville, 52 in Hertford, 46 for Corolla. It is now 8:16. It is time. We're getting close to the new year. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast, 46 tomorrow, 51 Friday. We're back in the mid-40s. If you have to squint to see it, that's a snowflake there. That's a snowflake there. Yeah, I do think we have the potential, mainly in the afternoon, to see this rain roll in, and it could slide in with some mixed precipitation, right? That could be the worst if you get more sleet than you do snow. It's going to be scattered, and these are going to be scattered showers on Saturday, mainly in the afternoon. Will Sunday be a problem? No. I have things improving. That 10% is really on its way out the door in the morning, but Monday looks dry. Tuesday looks gorgeous at 51, mostly sunny and partly cloudy. Look at this warming trend. Oh my goodness, that's 59 degrees on the 7th. That's the 7th of January. Your forecast, you'll be near 60. I know, isn't that wild? Some of you are like, yay. Some of you are like, boo. But we do have some cold mornings. I got a couple of mornings around 29 tomorrow night, and again Sunday night into Monday. I hope that helps. I'm just trying to do my part. If you've got a comment, this is a great time to say hi. Amy Thompson had a follow-up. She's noting her people in Minnesota like this weather. I bet they do. Minnesota's got crazy weather. I have a friend that I went to college with at Chapel Hill, my roommate. He's lived in Wilmer, Minnesota for many years. I think he's moved on to a different town in Minnesota now. But anyway, he lived there. And he loved it, even though the weather was crazy, wild extremes. Newport News this morning, Charles Terrell captured this, love it. This was from this morning, so a New Year's Eve morning, clouds, and of course at this time, this would have been when the snowflakes had just passed Gloucester, when that sun was coming up this morning at 7:18 a.m. Now the waxing moon in Portsmouth, George Stewart Everett, want to give a shout out to his note that it is a waxing moon. I want to point this out too, that we do have a full moon. A full moon is actually going to be taking place on January 3rd. And if you follow along with the Old Farmer's Almanac, the full moon in January is what? It's a wolf moon. So no howling here. The full wolf moon will come in on January 3rd as scheduled. But this picture points out from George, he's got the waxing moon in Portsmouth. Thank you, George, for sharing that. And our last picture, our last happy shot of 2025 comes from our friend Brian Smith. His view from historic Jamestown Island sunrise. Isn't that beautiful? He says that's not far from where his farm is, and his family farm. Either way, I just love it. It's beautiful. Thank you, Brian, for lifting our spirits, because you know what? Tomorrow is a new day, a new week, a new month, a new year, and now it's going to be up to you and up to us to make the most of it. Meanwhile, the clouds that are building are maybe widely scattered now, but there'll be more before midnight tonight. 46 for Thursday, 51 for Friday. We'll keep an eye on Saturday afternoon for some rain, possibly mixing in with snow in spots. Did I mention we have a Pozzoli $5 a week? $5 for the whole week. That's a pretty good deal. I'd say very good deal, because the best price I think I've ever seen on it is either $7.99 or $6.99, maybe a $5.99, but why spend the 99 cents? Just get $5. You get $5 Pozzolis if you use the promo code WTKR David. Again, this is not a universal $5. It's got to be used at these 6 locations. Our sponsor, having a connection to these 3 Virginia Beach locations in the 757, plus 2 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk. These are the places where you could redeem that $5 Pozzolis. And if you want to win some pizza, we're giving away free pizza tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, the new day of the year. Thursday, your name could be on that list, and if it is, you could be the recipient, randomly selected, a pizza for a year certificate. It works like a punch card. You'll be able to use it in January, and then you'll be able to use it in February, where you get 1 large, 1 topping pizza. You don't have to pay anything for it. How cool is that? You just put it on your refrigerator, and every month, just remind yourself, hey, we haven't used our free pizza yet. Do it. I mean, that's what it's there for. It's going to save you a whole lot of money, and it really doesn't cost you anything to enter. Marcos.com if you want a Pozzoli tonight, $5. Pepperoni Magnifico, they've got deals on that too if you go to Marcos.com. We encourage you to sign up, WTKR.com/Marcos for there. Glad to have you all here, and I really hope you all have a safe and exciting New Year's, because tonight's it, right? Miracles happen. They do. You just have to be faithful and hopeful that things are going to get better. If they're not so great, maybe they'll get even better. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, well, just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny, or in some places like Gloucester this morning, snowy. It doesn't matter if it's sunny or snowy. Every day is a gift. Make the most of it in your neighborhood, and we'll see you here next year. Take care.